Hey everyone, Blackmagic dropped a new video last night talking about some new products that they're releasing, a couple products they're updating. I wasn't expecting it, but I happened to be up at the time the video came out, so I watched it with great interest. Several of the products are pretty cool, but the one that I'm most excited about is the new ATEM Mini, little switcher. It's a little tiny guy. Not because I need another switcher, but because of what this thing is, and there's probably some ways that I can actually incorporate it into my workflow. So hey everyone, my name is Doug. I run a video production business in Orem, Utah called DJP, and we do live events of all sorts. So last night, Blackmagic did another live video demonstrating some of the features of some new products. And one thing that I was definitely not expecting was a brand new switcher kind of at the bottom of their product line. So they announced a brand new one. It's called the ATEM Mini. It's a 4-channel switcher. Let's actually take a look on the website and we'll talk a little bit about it. So here's the ATEM Mini. It's a brand new, basically mostly fully featured switcher that's available. Will be becoming available in November. It takes 4 inputs, all of them HDMI, and it has an HDMI output as well as a USB output. This thing is really designed for live streaming, especially to something like YouTube. So it actually outputs the video to your computer over that USB connection, and it basically pretends it's a webcam. So any software that you have for live streaming that will work with a webcam will work with this. That even includes basically the live feature of the YouTube site itself. So you don't even really need to have a dedicated piece of software installed on your computer in order to get up and going. So there's some pretty cool things about this thing. So first of all 4 of the inputs are actually capable of scaling and frame rate conversion. So it doesn't matter what your source video format is. It supports anything up to 1080p, up to 60 frames per second, and it will convert to whatever format you decide you want to use. In order to make it easy to set up, basically it automatically defaults to the video format of the first video source that you connect. So you don't even necessarily have to go into the menus in order to set your video format. Just whatever you connect first, that's the format that it uses. And then anything that you plug in thereafter will be automatically scaled and converted to that frame rate that's being used internally by the switcher. It has, as mentioned, an HDMI output that would normally be used for program, but you can actually remap that to either be a preview or basically mirror one of the inputs. And then it also has a very innovative feature in it where it basically input 1 pass through. So it takes whatever is on HDMI input 1 and passes it through without any additional latency, which would be useful for, say, esports. If you can have your video output of your video card from your computer go into input 1, and then the HDMI output of the switcher then go to the monitor that the game player is using. So you'll be able to incorporate video from a computer and pass it through to a monitor without any additional delay. It has what we consider a more traditional workflow available, but by default, it actually works in a mode where as soon as you press the button, it actually switches the program feed, so the output video format. You can just very quickly switch between cameras just by pressing the 1, 2, 3, or 4 button. You don't have to necessarily press 1 and then cut, and 2 then cut. It does have a mode where you can do that, but by default, just pressing the numbered button actually switches the video output on the program. It has a number of other cool effects. So you notice there that there is picture-in-picture, so it does have a DVE built into it, so you can do scaling and moving a video image around. It has 1 DVE, just like pretty much nearly all the ATEM switchers. It also has an upstream key, so you can do, and it actually has the advanced chroma keyer available that's normally reserved for Blackmagic's high-end switchers. That becomes available in there, so you can do really clean green screen keys if you want to. Of course, it also supports your other types of keys, so Luma Key, so where black becomes transparent in your video. You can use the DVE as part of that upstream key, and that's how it actually does the picture-in-picture. And even though it's not available from the front panel itself, it does have a downstream key available as well, so you can use that for something like a bug or a logo that you want to throw on top of your video. There's a dedicated fade to black button on here. Each of the channels has what basically Blackmagic is calling their Fairlight audio. So you have equalization, dynamics control, so compression, expansion, gate, so forth. Those are all available. You can actually even split stereo pairs into individual channels. So if you have two independent microphones connected up to a camera, so you have audio coming in on a camera input, you can actually split those into separate channels. And so, for example, pan them dead center. Instead of having the left always go to the left channel and the right always go to the right. You know, so you can control their gain independently, as well as equalization and compression. So looks like a pretty cool product. And as they were making the announcement, I kept thinking, man, this has got almost all the functionality of their television studio HD product, but it also has some more advanced stuff. So like the scaler and the advanced chroma keyer and all the advanced audio stuff that they've been putting in their higher units. And I kept thinking, this is a cool product, but it's going to be priced too high. Thinking probably maybe $1,500. Maybe if they're really going cheap, they'll sell it for $999. And my jaw about dropped when they announced the actual price. So you guys ready for this? The price on this thing? $295. That's insane for a 4-channel video switcher with high-def video switcher. That's just like, oh, it just boggles my mind. I haven't seen a value quite like that. Just take a look at some of the website here. So yeah, it's really designed for things like podcasting, esports competitions. They mentioned business presentations. That would certainly work well. Education and training. So it's HDMI only, so you're probably not going to be using this with your high-end cameras, but it does give high-quality video. I mean, it does support 1080p at up to 60 frames per second. It also supports ATEM control, so you can use the traditional ATEM control software that we use with other switchers, and essentially you get access to all the functionality that way. Yeah, it does have like all your different types of transitions that you expect to see on the ATEM series of switchers, and it does have a DVE built in. You can do titles through use of the upstream or downstream keys. It doesn't generate them internally. You have to provide a computer to do that. But it also, I also mentioned it has 2 separate audio inputs in addition to the audio that's coming from cameras. There is a single media player built in. Yeah, so you basically get almost all the features of their Television Studio HD product in a much smaller, much more compact package at a much, much lower price. I mean, obviously, there are some things that are not there. You don't get SDI. You don't have... It's only 4 inputs instead of 8. Single media player instead of 2. But for a lot of scenarios, I could see this thing actually being very, very handy. What I would have loved to see a slightly higher end version of this one that has SDI inputs, and also one that has a preview output, because right now it doesn't have a dedicated preview output. It also doesn't have a multi-viewer, but there's certainly a lot of scenarios where this thing might make sense. I could even see this thing being used to handle just the task of doing a chroma key before video gets sent into a much more powerful switcher, what would be considered traditionally a much more powerful switcher. But yeah, and also with built-in scaler, for $295, that's basically what you're paying for the most popular compact scaler out there, the Decimator MDHX. Same price, and for this price, you're getting a 4-channel video switcher. So pretty amazing. I was very much flabbergasted when he announced that the price on this was going to be $295. That's really astonishing. So it runs off 12 volts. So there, you even run it off a battery if you needed to. And then it supports most of the same features that are available in the higher-end switchers, even through remote control over network and whatever. So software developers will be able to take advantage of that. It does also work with Blackmagic's hardware panels that they've had. So there it is, the ATEM Mini, $295. Before I go, I just want to briefly mention a couple other things that they announced, because there's actually some interesting things here. They announced updates to their Video Assist line of monitors, so both the 5-inch and the 7-inch. They have new versions of those that support 12 gig SDI, and they also support HDR. They have much brighter screens. Another cool feature is they both have USB-C ports that you can plug a flash drive into and record to external media, so you're not limited to just the SD cards internally. That's really cool because you could actually take your flash drive directly from your monitor where you're doing your video recording and then plug it into your computer and start editing right away if you're using one of those SSD-based drives. Essentially, other than that, very similar to the prior models. Another notable change there is that they now use the Sony style batteries instead of the Canon style batteries. Oh, but they also added the scope feature to the 5-inch model, which was not in the 7-inch, or it was not in the 5-inch model, the older 5-inch model. So, yeah, let's see, HDMI 2.0, so we can do 4K at up to 60 frames per second. Wide gamut LCD, so helps to see some of the wider color gamut of Rec 2020 and DCI-P3. Both have LEDs built in. That's not necessarily new though. But anyway, also support Blackmagic RAW, so you can record Blackmagic RAW from selected cameras. So high quality video that you can do a lot of tweaking on exposure and color and all sorts of stuff. Much more flexible than say ProRes or DNx HD. It didn't appear to have H.264, but I have not confirmed that. So they may have left that off. It's hard to say. Let's see. Yeah, so new updates on the Video Assist products. Yeah, so I have both the original 4K, which is the 7-inch, and then the Video Assist. This first one right here, the Blackmagic Video Assist, the 5-inch version. I've really liked both of them, aside from a couple of little minor nitpicky things, which, yeah, not that big a deal. So yeah, so they announced that. Another couple of things they announced: a couple new hardware panels for controlling their Video Hub video routing switchers. Basically, an update of the previous versions that used an older design language, and they also announced Blackmagic RAW 1.5, which they finally are supporting on PCs now. So I tried it in Premiere Pro earlier today. Worked great. So yeah, able to edit Blackmagic RAW video very smoothly on Windows or Mac with this update. So yeah, so there's that. So there it is. A few new products just announced by Blackmagic Design last night. I'm probably most excited about the ATEM Mini. Just the ability to get a HD video switcher, 4 inputs with upstream, downstream keys, DVE, high quality mixing, high quality chroma key for only $295. That's just absolutely insane. That looks like it's going to be a great product. I'm certainly not going to make it my main switcher, but I certainly could use that as an auxiliary device for processing video. So I'm really excited about that. I'm also excited about the possibility that opens to a lot of people who may never consider a video switcher, because traditionally they've been too expensive. But for $300, that's almost just buy one kind of a decision. So a few other cool products that are also available there. I don't necessarily know that I'm going to be upgrading to the new Video Assist monitors. I already have a couple of the older ones, and they seem to work fine for me. And I'm not shooting 12 gig. So maybe not necessarily something I'll get right away, but maybe in the longer term. So anyway, if you guys have any questions about these things, please let me know in the comment section down below. I'll do my best to try and answer any questions you have about these products. I appreciate you guys certainly watching the channel. If you run your own video production business, please go take a look at my crewaccess.com website. It's there to help you run your business, every aspect of your business, from scheduling to finances to keeping track of your equipment and a whole bunch more. So as these products are actually released, I'm going to be producing links and putting those in the video description down below. And I always appreciate when you use those links, because the products don't cost you any more to buy, and a few dollars from each sale will come to help this channel. These videos are very time consuming to make, and I'm working on them. That means I'm not working on projects for customers. And so any help that you can offer is very much appreciated. And those links are available and work for not just the products that are directly linked, but anything else that you buy during that particular shopping session as well. Thanks guys for watching, and have a fantastic day.